team. That's the Talk Your Shit podcast team. With that being said, Mr. 1K, are you ready?
Yes, yes, let's do it.
Let's go. I definitely got a question for you. I had to put my stuff back up. So I definitely want to get into the music video that you did that was called They Don't Know. I felt like it exhibited a distinct visual style. So how involved are you in the conceptualization and production of your own visuals, and what message did you aim to convey through them?
I'm full fledged in when it comes to my music videos. So it's like at one point in time, I was doing my own music videos. Like I had somebody, of course, hold the camera for me and make sure, we get the still shots and all of that. But I first started off editing my own videos. And then once I got to the point where I fell into the right hands of like the right, like the photographer that I got now, like he shoots for like a lot of pop artists and a lot of big people that's like that. That way he don't really deal with like the hip hop side. So it was just like kind of random how me and him even fell into tune with each other. But once we got locked in with each other, every video that I probably shot like over 20 videos with him, but every video I sat right there as he was doing the start of it to the middle to the end. I'm telling him my inputs and how I want this to look like. So I'm full fledged when it comes to all of my visuals of everything that anybody can see when it comes to me. I'm definitely right there behind, what I'm saying, the person that's doing it. I'm right there behind his ear, right there on his shoulder, watching everything that's going on and giving my input on it. I ain't never made a video where somebody just did what they wanted to do with it and then sent it back to me. Like I always took like heed to that. And then as I go into this new year and years to come after that, I grew up like liking like Missy Elliott. Like I always felt like Missy Elliott had like dope ass visuals and like everything was like dope and authentic when it came to Missy Elliott videos. And then another person was like Ludacris. Like Ludacris was another person that I looked at and I was just like, damn, I know like for these videos to come out the way that they coming out, it literally I know these artists got to be sitting right there with that director because I know the director ain't had his thought in their mindset. I'm pretty sure it was like them when it came to it. When you listen to certain stuff they say on the song and then you see it being reenacted in the video, like I'm like, this is something that the artist is like literally giving to this photographer for them to do this, like or make it look like this. Like so I always took pride into making sure that I was involved when it came to anything when it came to my career. So if it came to music, the placements, wherever it goes, like I always was to make sure that I'm right there, like dealing with people like verbatim myself, like because it's like it's so easy. Like I said, like I got certain people that's in my background that I can have do a lot of stuff for me, but the way I wanted to take, I rather took the stairs rather than taking the elevator because I wanted to learn everything. So that way, once it's time for me to sit down, I actually got something that I could pass off to the youth. I also got stuff that's in my, in my lane that I can go do for the younger people that's coming up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, cause we got younger artists that's a part of our label as well. Like that's like 16, 17 doing their thing. But I feel like if I never would have took the stairs to go to where I'm at now, it would be a lot of stuff that I wouldn't know how to do. And I feel like a lot of people would be like suckering me out of my money for it. Like what they said, the like it's a quote that they say, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book. So it's like with that quote I took very like verbatim. I went to a school that was called Martin Luther King. So like we was always getting taught different quotes and different stuff like that as I was going through high school. So that was one that stuck with me. Like if you don't go learn how to do something, then somebody could finagle you or trick you into anything and just make you be paying money and you'll just be spending your money the whole time. All you had to do was just go sit there and learn how to do it. And then YouTube University is a motherfucker like that. They will teach you anything. Like so, I just always took pride into knowing how to do everything myself. Even if I didn't do it, I still know how to do it. So couldn't nobody just basically finagle me or trick me out of nothing or just have me spending unnecessary money. Because when it comes to this music game, this shit is very expensive, especially if you don't know what you're doing or who to go through or how to if you don't know the loopholes or if ain't nobody like expose the loopholes to you for you can make it a little bit more easier with your journey and your pockets don't have to get hit as much, then you're definitely going to be spending your life earnings and everything that you got when it comes to the music industry because this shit is very expensive, or at least they going to tell you it's expensive. A lot of this shit you can learn how to do yourself and it'd be cheap, but they're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you to go deal with this photographer, go deal with this engineer, go deal with that person. When it comes to marketing, like they're gonna tell you like these people are already professionals and they do it. So it's like they're gonna tell you anything and you're just gonna be spending your money and you might not even see no results. I know people that have probably put down there 500,000 into their career and they ain't even made it farther than me. And I'm like, with that type of money you put in your career, you should be way farther off than I am. But they still looking at me like I'm bigger than them, and they didn't put way more money into their career than I didn't put into mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just the fact that I just want to learn how to do a lot of stuff so I could keep most of my money in my pocket. So I learned how to shoot videos and edit videos so I could do that myself. I learned how to engineer from when my parents first bought me a computer and showed me the process. Like, I learned how to do that. I learned how to do marketing. I got behind one person that I knew that had their own marketing company, and they sat back and kind of taught me like a little, like a tutorial thing where they showed me how to go do certain things to catch different algorithms on Instagram and do all of this type of stuff. Like, so I just really went and learned the game rather than somebody selling me the game. I went and learned it myself. Like, so that way I could be able to help anybody else that I feel like deserves it, you know what I'm saying? Or that, comes to me and asks me for help. Like, I never wanted to be that type of person where somebody would be like, hey, can you help me with this? And I'd be like, oh, I got to send you over here. I'd rather be that person that can help them with whatever the situation is, no matter what the situation was. Like, unless it's like some medical or some shit like that that I ain't got no hands in. Other than that, if it's something as far as with this music industry, it ain't gonna be too much that I can't help you with, because I know either if I don't know the process, I know who do know the process, and I know who could put you right here, who could place you right here. So that's just always been my thing when it came to that. So back to the video thing, like I take full fledged and 100% when it comes to my music videos. Only thing I can say is I'm not the person that's actually pressing the button in that. But when it comes to every scene, every clip, everything, every edit, everything that got to it, I was telling the photographer to do it this way.
Period. Thank you so much for answering that. Now, with that being said, I do have a question for you about the adaptation that happens within the music industry that's been happening over the last couple of years. So the music industry is constantly evolving, just like your music, just like your journey into manhood, right? So how
Mhm.
have you adapted your sound and approach to stay relevant in an ever changing landscape? Now I know we talked about just releasing music because it's a part of your soul and your spirit, and whoever vibe with it, right? We even talked about adapting certain sounds because it would trigger a response in certain demographics of people, right? So I'm
Mhm.
asking you, how do you stay relevant with an ever changing music industry? That's a whole nother level. So let's talk about it.
I learned this honestly, and it's kind of like a just because I fuck with Rocky so hard, I'm gonna like pass it on to y'all. But it's really like kind of like an industry thing that they don't really try to like pass off or whatever. But the reason why you got Drake still sitting on top of the game, and Lil Durks and the Futures, and they done been in the game for dinner almost 20 years now, but they still hitting hard like they started off 20 years ago, is the youth. Like, you gonna have to put yourself around younger people than you, because at the end of the day, everything is going and navigating through the youth. So it's like, with me, I'm 30. I just turned 30 this year. So with me, for me to stay as relevant as possible, because like I don't live in the hood no more. So it's like certain stuff I wouldn't know about the hood unless I got people that's around me that's still in the hood. If you get what I'm saying, like, and they could still kind of tell me this is what's going on, or they didn't change this, or now they moving like this. They not sipping on this type of lean no more. Now they sipping on this type of lean. Like, or they ain't talking about this no more. Now they talking about this. So like how at first, the like, if you go back 5-10 years ago, the world was anti when it came to tricking and spending money on females and buying this and buying that. That was kind of like something that was like an unheard of thing. Like, but now in today's timing, because of the Sexy Reds and the Cardi B's and the Megan Thee Stallions that then came into the game, that gave off a different aspect of music and how the lifestyle is, it kind of opened up that door for people to feel more comfortable with coming out saying that, yeah, I just bought this girl a whole body, or yeah, I just did this, or I spent this, or I paid for her rent, or I did, you know what I'm saying? So it's like now people are more comfortable with it, but it takes for you to be around these crowds of people to understand where the next thing of music is going. So it's like, if you don't keep yourself relevant with the people of that's younger than you, that's coming up, then you gonna end up being one of them old people that you don't like, nigga be like, oh, you don't know what you talking about. You old as hell. Now, that ain't how the world going no more. Like, and you'll end up being in that crowd. So the reason why I be able to stay relevant is because I learned that process being around Future, because at one point in time we is the youth that he was looking at, that he was learning certain catchphrases from, or certain like words or choices or topics to talk about. He was getting it from us, because shit, we was still running around in the street still doing God knows what and God knows who. Like, we was still doing all of that. And when we come back to the studio and tell him different stories, or tell other, bigger artists different stories about what we doing in the streets, they go rap about it. Of course, we know these artists, as big as who they is, they can't even go inside of a Walmart without being seen. So it's like, we know that they're not doing none of this no more, but at the same time they still talking about it, because they know it's people like us that's younger that can relate to it, and that because we're actually doing it. So it's like, okay, yeah, I can relate to Future, because shit, he talking about this, and I know I just was out here doing this earlier today. So that hit home to me when I heard that line from Future, when he said that, like, or that hit home to me when I heard Dirk say, I was just sliding this way and had to go, do this or do that, because this is what I'm doing in the street. So like, basically, to stay relevant on an ongoing music thing that's changing, you have to continue to keep yourself around the youth, for the people that's changing it.
Period. 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 That was a great, great, great response. Thank you so much, Mr. 1K. I definitely have another question for you before I pass it back to the team. And then after that, we'll pass it back to the stage. We're going to pass it to the team, pass it back to the stage. Okay.